how to service listings. And I want to make sure that you all have a process and that things are down, and you have a real systemized way to service your listings. There's nothing worse than you going out there cold calling, door knocking, whatever you do, and getting these listings and then getting fired because your clients feel like you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Or there's nothing worse than having a home just sit on the market and you're not getting paid for it. So, I mean, the name of this game isn't just to get the business, it's to close the business. And so I want to make sure that everybody knows how to service your listing to keep your clients happy, but then also to make sure that they are moving on the market. All right. So I'm going to tell you kind of my whole process, and then we'll just add some things in here and there. But you know, I'm just real big on systems. Systems allow you to scale. And so when you're running a system, when you're doing things a systematic way, you can handle more of it because you have a process down. So when you get a new listing, you need to create some type of file for that listing. And this can be a file in your Google Drive. This can be on your computer. Y'all know in the office, I still do this because I'm so old school. But I have a bunch of these folders. These are literally my listing folders, to where I create one of these for every single listing. And down here in this filing cabinet, I have all of these folders for all of these listings. But you can do it however you want, but you need to create some type of folder so that everything with that listing goes in that folder. With the listing, you're going to be handling a lot of paperwork. And so it's your job to kind of always have that paperwork on you. The reason why I carry a folder is because at closing, sometimes things come up, or whenever you're going to meet with the client or doing anything at the house, you want to have all that stuff with you in case something comes up. There's nothing that's like, I mean, there's nothing worse than you trying to sit here and find something, we didn't say that, or oh yeah, this and that, because you're not organized. You have to make sure that you're organized in front of your clients when you're doing these listings. So the first thing, you need to create a folder for it. Now, listing paperwork, and y'all should know this stuff, but whenever you are going to get a listing signed, you're going to need a listing agreement. All right. That's the exclusive right to sell. That's what a listing agreement is. You want to go into your appointment with that listing agreement filled out as much as possible. Like I said, on any contracts class and in any agreement class, the name that's on that listing agreement is whatever name is in the tax rolls. So no matter if the lady said her name is Susie, if you look in the tax rolls and you see Susanna, it needs to say Susanna on the listing agreement. If there's multiple names on the listing agreement, I mean, in the tax rolls, both of those names need to be on that listing agreement, and both people need to sign that listing agreement unless it's like a power of attorney thing. And in that case, you need to see that the power of attorney. So a husband and a wife who are divorcing, if both of their names are on, or husband and husband, sorry, you got, you know, these days. If both of their names is on there, then both of them have to sign that. You can't execute a listing agreement without the signature of the other person. So just know that you're gonna want to bring a copy of whatever's on the tax rolls. So print out the actual tax rolls and bring a copy. The reason is because they may say their square footage is one thing, and you can show them that it's something else. They may say that there's 2 bathrooms, but you know, on the tax rolls it says 3 or 1.5. They may say, oh, this person doesn't need to sell this house, but you got to say, hey, this is what's on the taxes. So you need that. You need a seller's disclosure. All right. You need to bring a blank seller's disclosure. That is something that these sellers have to fill out. You can't fill it out for them as their agent. All right. You can't really give them too much advice on it either. So if it's something that they don't know, you have to tell them, check the unknown box. All right. So you need that seller's disclosure. If it's a home, you're going to need a document called the T-47. Okay. It's called the T47. And what this document, it's a survey affidavit. So the document basically asks them, have you made any changes to the property that aren't listed here on the survey? And that document has to be signed and they have to get it notarized. So they have to fill out that document in front of a notary and have that document notarized. Okay, so that's if it's a single family home that has a survey.
Quick question.
Yep.
Do you need, if you just got a survey like not too long ago, do you still need to do the T47?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they'll just check nothing's changed.
Okay.
You need your IABS, your information about brokerage services. You're gonna need that. If the home was built before 1978, you're gonna need a lead-based paint addendum. So anything built before 1978, you need a lead-based paint addendum. If it's a
1978 or 68?
78.
78.
Okay.
If it's a community with an HOA, you're going to need a HOA addendum. So you're going to need the client to fill out an HOA addendum to so that you can know that I mean they can fill out all that stuff with their HOA. Something else that I will typically bring is input forms, and it's a document that's called like MLS input form or Netris input form. And what that form is, it's basically everything that's in the MLS. It's a blank form of everything that's in there. So when you're in the house and you're looking around and you're doing everything, you can basically kind of be filling out your MLS form. If you've ever input a listing in MLS before, you know that it asks a lot of questions. And it's so easy to be like, oh, I don't remember if the house has that, or I don't remember. So I'll typically bring this blank form with me so that I can fill it out while I'm in the house. You're gonna need your wire fraud advisory. So, with everything, you need that. Now, if you want to go the extra mile to secure more business, you can bring a buyer's rep so that when that house sells, you can help them on their buy. Okay, so those are the documents that you're going to need to bring for your listing appointment to get signed. Now, in addition to that, you're going to need your sold comps, your listing presentation. Something you can also bring is what's known as a net sheet. You can print off one of those from Netris or any title company's website, like Texas Title has one on their website, and that basically tells your client what they can expect to walk away with. I don't typically bring net sheets because I'll just tell them they can expect to walk away with 93% of whatever the final sales price is, and so I'll just kind of do that as a rule of thumb. But you can bring a net sheet if you want to. All right. Now, when you get your listing agreement signed, okay, or like while you're doing this process, you want to talk with the client about timelines. All right, this is a very important conversation. So when is the house gonna be ready for photos? We do not, I repeat, so don't ask me this in the future. We do not put anything on MLS without photos. All right. Nothing that we do is going to go on MLS without photos. And the reason is because, for one, we don't want to present our listings like that. And secondly, when you put a listing in MLS, it goes to all these different websites. It goes everywhere. And not only you and other agents, what do we do when we see listings with no photos?
We just click right over.
Click off of them. So we're not even going to start that. And it's a lot more difficult to get the listing photos changed on all these websites than it is just to do it right the first time. So Talk with your clients about timelines. You need to get listing photos taken. If it's a small condo, you can get a small number of photos, so 10 to 12 photos. If it's a large house or if it's a normal size house, go for the full 24 photos. Another thing that you're gonna get, and you can do this on photos day, but let your client know that you're gonna be doing this, is you need to measure each room. Okay, in MLS you can put measurements in there, and I think now it's kind of mandatory, but you're gonna measure each room. Now, I used to have an old school, well, I used to be real old school, and I had the whole tape measure, and I, stick it under the carpet and go across the room. And then I stopped that.
Cartier, we have to.
I had leveled up, and then I had went and got an actual laser measure. So it was pretty cool because you just put it on the wall and it'll measure the length of the room. So that was pretty cool. If you have an iPhone, there is an app that's called Measure. It should be built into your iPhone. But Measure is really cool because you can literally stand in the center of the room or stand in one part of the room and click on one end of the wall and take your phone all the way across, and it'll measure the whole length of the room. And you can do that both sides. But you need length times width of all the rooms in the garage. So you gotta measure all the rooms. You need to get your photos taken. Let your client know that they need to produce an extra key for the property, because you need a key for the lockbox. Speaking of lockboxes, you can only put a combo box if it's a vacant home. If there's somebody living in that house, go buy a super box, okay? Or if I have any available, you can borrow one of mine. But go buy a super box if it's not a vacant home. Let them know you're going to be installing the sign. So the day that your sign is going to be installed, when you're going to put that sign out there, and then install the actual lockbox. So you got photos, measurements, signs, lockbox, all that kind of stuff is going to pretty much happen on the same day. I'll typically say we're going to do all this on the same day. Now, when you're leaving the listing appointment, take a picture of the front of the house so that you can use it for your pre-marketing before your actual listing photos are done. But sit down with your client and have this conversation about timelines. Set the expectation for them to have that T47 done, for them to have a copy of the survey, and for them to have that seller's disclosure done and ready for you on the day that you're coming back for photos. All right? Any on that?
When you got to get the T47 notarized, where do you find the person to notarize it?
So they can go to their bank. They can go to the post office. You can hit up the bank. You can get stuff done. You can get notarized stuff done pretty much anywhere. Title company can do it as well.
Okay, cool.
All right. So you're getting all of that done. Now, once you get the photos back, which those should only take overnight, you're going to order the brochures. All right. So you're going to order the brochures. The cool thing about who we use for brochures is there's no minimum order quantity. So if you only want to order 5 or 10, then that's fine. You don't have to order a whole bunch of them, but go ahead and place that order for brochures so that they can come in pretty quickly. And whatever else you want to get, brochures, postcards, stuff like that. Keep in mind, everything that you do for this listing is for the seller, okay? You want to put your best presentation on for the seller. Why? Because we want to get referrals. You never know if they have other properties. You want them to say that you really put in work on this property. What most agents are going to do, they're going to go to their office and print out some little flyers from the printer and stick them in the house, or they'll just print out MLS sheets and stick it there with their business cards next to it. That's not what we're going to do. All right. We have to level up. You know, I know that that's the cheap route, but I'm not one for the cheap route anymore. And I wouldn't want you to be for that cheap route, because this is a representation of you and the team. Make sure that you have your sign writers. If you don't have the sign writers printed, don't put anything down there. Let them just call the office and you just get those calls. One thing about anybody calling the office, if I answer the phone and it's about your listing, I will send that client to you. So I'm gonna just refer that over to you, but don't put, I mean, if you don't have a writer, then don't put anything down there. Now, once you do that, you can start putting the listing in MLS. All right, you can start putting it in MLS as incoming. Don't make it active until it's a complete listing and it's all done. But you can stick it in there as incoming, and incoming is pretty much like saving it as a draft. Before you make your listing active, send it to your client for approval. All right. Don't make anything live without your client approving it, because there's nothing worse than you making a mistake, and a mistake can be small, a misspelled word or a measurement that's off or this or that, and your client calling you because somebody called them, and now they're all angry. So send it to your client for approval. Send them the brochure design to them for approval. Get your client involved. What this is going to do, guys, is it's going to show them that you're actually working for them. We can be doing all this stuff behind the scenes, and if we don't tell them that we're doing it, they don't know that we're doing it. And what do they say? Oh, he ain't doing nothing. So involve them in this process. Let them do that thumbs up, thumbs down, change this. I think we should put this photo as the first one, or whatever it is. Send it to your client so that they can approve it. Okay. Next thing you want to do is put your listing in CSS. So if you're going to use CSS for it, put your listing in CSS. You can do that by calling them or going on the website. And CSS will link up with your MLS listing. Make sure that you're having the conversation with your client about showings. So do they need go anytime? A go and show. Y'all know what that is. Would they want a courtesy call, or do they want an appointment required? So have that conversation with them. Once you get your photos back, again, you can add them to your listing in MLS. And then when your client signs off on it and says that it looks good, make it live in MLS. All right. Now, this is where most agents stop. They got the sign, they got the photos, it's live, and then it's done. And then it just sits. Okay. That's not what we're going to be doing. And that's not what you want to do. Did the air turn off? And so first things first, and this needs to be in your calendar every single week. Every Tuesday, you owe your client an update call. All right? Every single Tuesday. It's update call day. I do it. You're going to do it. You have to call them every single Tuesday. This is going to do two things. It's going to let them know that you're still working, and it's also going to keep them from calling your phone wondering all the time. If you set that stage that I'm going to call you every single Tuesday with an update call, then they shouldn't question what you're doing or if anything's being done. So here's what you're going to discuss on that update call. Am I moving too fast?
No, you're good.
Yeah. Here's what you're going to discuss on that update call. All right. First off, any questions about anything that I just said?
Yeah.
Okay. So on that update call, you need to tell them how long they've been on the market. So I start the update call, and be excited about this update call. Like, hey, Brittany, it's Chasen, just giving you our weekly update call. Do you have a moment? And just like be really exciting, because the reason is you might not have such good news, or you might be about to tell them nothing's happened. So the least you can do is just try to get them as excited as possible. So let them know that this is their update call. You need to tell them how long they've been on the market. So yeah, we've been on the market now for 27 days. And tell them how many showings you've had. In the last 7 days, we've had X amount of showings. All right. From those showings, you need to let them know what the feedback has been. So if you're not getting feedback from agents, if agents aren't sending you feedback, call them every Tuesday before you call your actual clients. Get any type of feedback you can get. Okay, feedback can work wonders, because just think about it. If you've told your client, or you've suggested one price, but they say, no, Thomas, I want to list for this, and this is what I want for it, and then they've had 5 showings and all the other agents have said the same thing, then you could present that to them. And then maybe, just maybe, they may listen and say, well, if every agent's saying this, then yeah, I guess we can lower the price, you know. Or it could go the other way, like, yeah, people have been coming in saying that it smells very bad, or that, you know, they saw weed on the table the other day, or you know, the electricity wasn't on and it was so cold outside that they were uncomfortable looking. You know, these are things that you want to be able to tell them so that it can help you out, because then it takes you from the position of just being the bad guy, always delivering the bad news, to other agents doing it as well. So tell them what all the feedback has been. The next discussion that you want to have with them is what's going on in the market. So most agents will only discuss this at the actual listing appointment. But no, keep them updated what's going on, because again, this can help your case. So if you know in your mind that y'all need a price reduction, and you say, yeah, crazy thing, 2 other properties went under contract this past week and they were listed at this and they were listed at this, you know, and we're still listed up here, then maybe they can see that, okay, yeah, maybe I am listed too high, you know. So let them know what's going on in the market. On the flip side, if you've been on the market for a long time, but so has everybody been on the market for a long time, you can bring that up. Yeah, nobody's moved and everybody's still active and nothing's going on under contract. And so, you know, that way they're not like, yeah, Thomas, all these other people are going under contract, but why am I not? You know, what are you not doing? So just let them know what's happening in the market. The next thing that you want to talk to them about is what you plan on doing next. So what your next strategy is, you know. So yeah, I want to hold an open house this weekend. I'm going to hold it open from 10 to 2 on Saturday and Sunday, get some new eyes on it or whatever. I'm going to be changing the image on MLS to show the kitchen first instead of the front of the house. Maybe people will see, you know, when they see how awesome this kitchen is, then they're going to want to preview it. Or I'm going to door knock the whole neighborhood. Let them know what you're going to be doing so that they know that you're still out here working. This is important. Whatever activity you're going to be doing, they need to be in the loop, so they're not just saying, well, he's done all he can do and that's it. And then they're going to want to go hire another agent. Okay, so those are the 4 things that I talk about in my weekly update calls. When you get off the phone with them, what are you going to do? You're going to send all that in writing. All of it in writing. Send it to their email address. Y'all know I'm not a big he said, she said type of deal. Anything that I say to you, every call I get off of, I send it in email. So be sure to send it to them.
Okay.
If you're working with partners on a deal, if you're working with a trust, if you're working with a husband and wife, wife and wife, whatever, everybody needs to be in the loop through this email. Don't get biased to one side or don't gravitate to one side, because I've done that before. And what ended up happening? The husband loved me and the husband wanted to keep working with me, but the wife, I kept her out of the loop because I was talking to the husband mostly, wanted to fire me. And then ultimately the wife ended up winning. Then they got a divorce and then the husband hired me. So, but make sure that you're keeping all parties in the loop on what's going on these update calls. Okay, when are you going to do these update calls?
Tuesday.
Every single Tuesday. That's literally the day on my greatness tracker. It says it on those theme days hanging up in the office. Tuesdays are your update calls. And so that way you can give your client that update. So let's talk about things that you can do to market the listing. All right. So you got this listing, you've done all the normal stuff, you've put it in MLS, you put the sign out there, all that kind of stuff. The first things first, open house. So you want to host an open house if your client is okay with it. So host that open house if your client is okay with it. I'm sure everybody on the team would love to host it for you. Whatever you want to do, just try to host an open house. Now, if it's a luxury listing, you want to take Twilight pictures. Do y'all know what Twilight pictures are?
No.
Like during the sun going down.
Yeah, so those are those photos you see where it looks like the sun is going down, all the lights are on inside the house, and it's just like a beautiful scene. So you can take Twilight pictures. If you want to, you can take aerial pictures. So aerial pictures, I mean, and home snappers can do this as well. That they'll take the drone and they can take photos from above and from the street corner and just all this kind of stuff. So you can take those aerial photos. You want to place a listing binder in the home. So I do this for all of my listings, luxury or not not luxury. But what I'll put in this listing binder is I will put the MLS sheet. I will put a copy of the seller's disclosure. I will put comps. So I'll literally put a comp sheet in there. There is a website you can use called listreports.com. And we actually have an account, I believe, so I can send y'all that login. But what that'll do is that'll print out like walkable stuff, the schools, the ratings, the parks in the area, all that kind of stuff. And you can create like a nice little home binder so that when people come to the home, they have all the information there. So I do that for all of my listings as well.
I have a question.
Yep.
What kind of comps do you put in there? Do you put sold comps?
Yeah, so I put comps to I don't put active. No, I put comps to justify my price that I'm asking.
Okay.
I also have that in there for the appraiser, so I do it anyway, just to have it there for the appraiser. So yeah. Now, send out an e-blast, and you can do e-blast through Jason Cloud. His email address is J, so the letter J, Cloud, CLOUD, studio @gmail.com. So
There's all of them.
yeah, so what Jason Cloud does is you just provide him with the photos and the property description or the MLS sheet, and he'll create one of those e-blasts. Y'all know those things you get in your email like all day. So he'll create one of those for you, and he has a list of all the agents in the area in our MLS, and he'll blast it out to them. I think the cost is like $50 or something like that, but it's worth it. Do it for your clients. You know, this is something that you're gonna show your client. Yeah, we had an e-blast sent out to all the agents in our MLS. Okay, so get an e-blast done on every listing. I typically get an e-blast done when I just listed, and then when we're doing any price adjustments. And then I'll even get them sometimes for open houses. But definitely when you list and when you do price adjustments, get that e-blast sent out there. Okay. Now, when you get your photos done, and you're gonna be supplied a folder with all the high resolution photos in there. Post those in Slack. Okay. Post them in Slack. Post that actual folder with the high resolution photos in Slack. A couple of things are going to happen with that. For one, we're going to get the marketing materials created for social media. But two, whenever anybody gets a new listing and you get those professional photos, all of us are gonna blast it out on our Facebooks and our Instagrams, whatever. So it's a group effort. This is something that you can show your client. Your home was seen by this amount of thousands of people just from our personal networks. Okay, I'm sure each of us has 1,000 people on all of these networks. Some maybe more than others, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's at least 7,000 people. Okay, in addition to those who have 2, 3, 4, 5, 20, whatever. So this is something that you're going to be able to tell your clients, but we need the high resolution photos. Don't just send us the MLS link. Don't just send us the address. When you take photos off of MLS, it's not the same as the photos that the photographers give you. Okay, so place the actual folder, whether they give it to you through Dropbox or through just a zip file or whatever. We need that folder. So another thing you can do. Okay, so we're gonna do these social media blasts. We're gonna get these professional social media graphics created. We're all gonna blast it out, all that kind of stuff. Okay, as all these things are happening, you are tracking. You're taking screenshots. You're doing whatever. You're providing this to your actual clients. Okay, this is showing them that you're working. Next thing, if you want to send direct mailers out, you can do that as well. So you can order direct mailers and mail it out to the neighborhood. A great site that I like to use for that is called CoreFact, CoreFact. CoreFact. The reason why I like CoreFact is because you can mail out those just listed flyers and just sold whatever, but what they do on the back of the postcard is every home that they send it to, they put on that postcard, find out the value of your home, and they'll put a unique code on every single postcard, and each code is linked to a house. So if anybody goes on that link that they put on the postcard and enters their code to find out the value, you're going to get notified the exact house that looked that up. Okay, what that can do for you is it can help you get more listings. So I really like using that company.
Quick question.
Yep.
Do you know, kind of at the top of your head, what they charge for that kind of stuff?
I want to say it's like 40 something cents a postcard. It just depends on how many you end up getting.
Okay.
But
That's
it's
cool,
a one-stop shop because you can get the list from them, or you can identify a radius. They also custom print each postcard and they'll mail it out for you. So, with that landing page, with those codes and all that kind of stuff. So, it can cost you 40 something cents just to get the postcard yourself and then have to stamp them, mail them out, buy a list and all that kind of stuff. So, I really like them. Now, so we've talked about open houses. We talked about the email blast. We've talked about the social media blast. We've talked about postcards. The next thing is brokers opens. So if you feel like you have a property that you want to get seen by more people, you can host a brokers open. I typically don't do these for lease properties, but definitely for sale properties. Brokers open, you put them in MLS the same way you put an open house in MLS, but instead of choosing public, you choose broker. Okay, and then you can market it at the MLS meetings and all that kind of stuff. If you have a listing that's in our MLS areas, which they are all over the place, you want to go to the MLS meeting. And the reason is at every MLS meeting, they give you an opportunity, if you have a home on tour or on the market or that you want to get seen by more agents, you can make an announcement. Yeah, I have this 2-bedroom, 3-bath. It's immaculate. It's gorgeous. It's such and such.
It's not going to last.
Yeah, it's not going to last. You basically go to MLS meetings and do that. They serve you free breakfast. It's literally just like a bunch of old school realtors who back in the day used to all hop on a bus together and go tour these houses for free snacks. and they literally stand up and so everybody should at least go experience an MLS meeting. But they're actually trying to get me to lead the MLS meetings one year, but I'm just not even about that life. And so you want to promote your listing at MLS meetings. This is something you can tell your clients. Next thing you can do is door knock. So door knock the neighborhood, let the neighbors know that you have a new listing. You have a listing out there. You want to show it to them, private showings, all that kind of stuff. As long as you have a listing, you should be promoting that listing on social media for the duration of you having that listing. Okay. Now, a little trick. Typically, when you get photos done, they're going to give you 24 photos. All right. That's 24 different posts that you can use for that listing. All right. You can literally use a different photo for each listing, or a different two photos, just to give it a different perspective. You could talk about the kitchen in one time. You could talk about the living room another. Talk about the backyard with the pool, whatever. But you need to be constantly promoting that listing on Facebook, on Instagram, if you're on Twitter, whatever, promoting that listing. Another thing you need to do is do a video walkthrough. Everybody does these walkthroughs of all other properties, and we all make YouTube videos. Make them for your listings, okay? Show your client that you created this video. If you need somebody's help, get somebody's help. I'm sure a lot of us would be down to help each other shoot a property video. As a matter of fact, make it worth the other agent's time. Like Thomas, if you have a listing and you ask Jacob to help you shoot a property video, let him shoot you touring it, then you shoot him touring it. So that way y'all can both use it, okay? It's only gonna be good in the end, because now you have multiple people promoting that listing. So buddy up with this stuff. Then you can show
Do it.
What were you saying, Jacob?
No, I was like, let's do it. I'm down.
Yeah. So then you can show your client that you got this video done. Plus, when we get this founders YouTube channel going and we're all pushing it, then you can show them these views and these analytics and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Things that you can provide to your client would be screenshots of all these analytics. Like, this is what it did on YouTube. You as an agent, you can log into Zillow and it will show you the analytics on your listings, how many people are viewing it, how many people save it, all this kind of stuff. You can show that to your client. All right. Now, something else. Now, when you start getting higher price listings, what you can do is you can have it featured on Candy's Dirt. Has anybody ever heard of Candy's Dirt?
Yeah.
Nope.
So Candy's Dirt is a huge real estate blog here in Dallas. So you should definitely go and subscribe to it. It's candysdirt.com. But any dish you want to know about real estate, or any scoop about anything happening in real estate, even down to like the drama in real estate, you're on Candy's Dirt. But you can also place listings on there. So they can write up a nice little write-up press, and you can have your listing featured on Candy's Dirt. You can have your listing featured in Luxury Home Magazine. So anything 700 and up, take out a page or half a page or whatever in Luxury Home Magazine. Have it there. You can, let me see. Marketing. You can host a open house party at your listing. So that's something, I mean, like, this is getting into kind of what you see on TV, which you can definitely do that. There's nothing that prevents you from hosting an event, unless it's just something that your client doesn't want. Host a party there. You can host a fashion show. You can host an art show. The possibilities are endless. You can get as creative as you want with this. But at the end of the day, guys, you have to realize that We are marketers. We have to market this listing. And some listings require more marketing than others, but it's up to us to get as creative as possible to market the home. When you're doing these update calls, you want to be able to tell your seller what you're doing, no matter what it is. Like y'all know, I will give away a vacation. So if you want to promote giving away a vacation for open house attendees, or you're going to do a raffle for a vacation, for a restaurant card, for, you know, whatever, you can do that. I've done it numerous times. You can run Facebook ads for your listings. So if you want to run a Facebook ad, then run a Facebook ad from your business page showing the listing. But I'm not seeing, I know that some of y'all have listings, but I'm not seeing them enough on your social media. And I don't have them on my social media because I don't have the professional pictures. And I'm not going to put anything that's not professional out there. So just keep that in mind. Like, we can spread each other's reach, and we can get these listings sold, and we can, at the bare minimum, even if the listing doesn't sell, we can at least know that you are impressing your client by all of our efforts. So, but it's up to you as the listing agent to include us and to, you know, provide us with at least photos. Like, there are several opportunities to market. There are opportunities when it's pre-listing, when, you know, it's about to come to market. That's the hip pocket marketing. There's opportunities when it's active. There's opportunities when it goes under contract, when it goes pending, and when it's sold. When you market the right way, all of these should be bringing you leads in. When you have listings, this can get you not only other listings, but it can get you buyer clients. If you have a listing out there, every time your phone rings, you should answer it, because your number is linked to that listing in MLS. If you have a sign out there in the yard, your phone number's on there. That could be somebody calling you about your listing, okay? Even if it's gonna be where it doesn't work for them, like to where they don't want that size house or whatever, that's your opportunity to capture a buyer or capture another client. So it's so important when you have listings to make sure that you're answering the phone. If people are reaching out to you on Realtor.com or on Zillow because of your listing, make sure that you're responding to them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's something in MLS called reverse prospecting. When you have a listing, it will show, there's going to be a button down at the bottom of your list, your listing, that says reverse prospecting. You can click on that button, and it's going to show you all the agents' names and email addresses and what company they work for, who have clients that match your listings criteria. So you know how we can set up alerts in MLS for our clients? Well, all that data gets shared. So if I have a listing and Brittany has an alert set up for one of her clients that matches my client's criteria, it's going to show me Brittany's name, phone number, email address, and her company. What you can do is you can reach out to those agents and say, hey, I can see that you have a client that matches this. Have you showed it to them? My client's very motivated, whatever. It goes a long way. Again, you're telling your client, yeah, I called 20 agents today to sell your listing to them personally. You know, again, that's something you can do to market your listing. I just gave you all of these different ways that you can market a listing, and I'm going to give you just a few more just to make sure that you have all of them, because there's no excuse anymore for not servicing your listings. While I'm looking for this file, anybody have any questions?
Negative.
Jacob put his picture up.
What?
Yeah, where'd you go? The real.
Oh, I didn't want y'all seeing me like just staring at nothing, you know.
We're all just staring at nothing.
Like the rest of right.
Yeah.
Now you just smile at me, man.
There you go.
Back
Oh,
on,
right.
I'm back.
Put it away. Put it away.
Whatever.
He's such a realtor. Okay, I got it. One second. All right, here we go. I'm about to give you a list.
Uh-oh.
So, we got yard sign. We got the hip pocket. You're a professional photographer. A virtual walkthrough. You can give them a personal home website. Okay. And there's a couple ways you can do that. You can do this through list reports, like I said, but you can also set them up a Facebook page, a Facebook business page for their actual home. Anybody ever thought about doing that?
No,
That's smart.
yeah.
Yep. And you can run ads from that page. You can
Yeah.
run contests. If there's something going on in the neighborhood, if you have an event, whatever,
Wow.
do that from that page.
More.
I just freaking lost my file. I mean, not lost it, but where did it go? How do you get it to show all your windows? Okay. Crap, are you kidding me?
I
Okay.
don't have a Mac.
What?
I said I don't have a Mac. Can't help you.
Oh, I would be lost on that Windows.
It's easy. What you talking about?
And they get a
Yeah.
touch screen.
That's why there's always a line at Geek Squad. Okay, hold on, I have it back.
It's
All
because
right,
people don't know how to use it.
right, because it's not as easy as they say.
There's a line at the Apple Store.
Okay, personal website, social media syndication. So we talked about that. And do y'all know what syndicating means? It means constantly putting it out there in multiple places. Okay, a broker's open. Postcards. So mailing out postcards, even if it's postcards that you're just handing out, postcards. You can go walk the neighborhood and stick a postcard in everybody's door. Luxury home magazine, if it's a luxury property. Going to be on all the real estate websites. Use your KV Core website to its advantage. You know, your listing will be on KV Core, so that way you can post it on Craigslist. You can post that link on Facebook, and you get those leads in. You can do a neighborhood mail out. So if you want to mail just like a note card or just like a printed MLS sheet, whatever you want to mail it out to the people around the home. Reverse prospecting. Do y'all know what reverse prospecting is? I mean, circle prospecting.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of you circle prospect for just random business, but when you circle prospect and you actually have a listing over there, it goes even a longer way. You know, you're showing these potential sellers how hard you work for your listing.
Right.
Ask
Question: If can you do circle prospecting on the MyPlus leads?
Yeah, I mean, if there's market activity,
Okay.
I don't see why not.
Okay, because I see like it's only like they give you an expired list and then a for sale by owner list.
Yeah, Remind is good.
Remind, yeah.
Yeah, Remind, whatever.
Okay.
Okay. So, I said Facebook property page, a YouTube walkthrough video. So doing a video of you walking through the home. Adding it to MLS tour. So that's what I mean by when you go to the MLS meetings, and you put a home on tour, and they'll typically print out a list of all the homes that are on tour and give it to everybody there. So you can have your listing on there as well. So having a home on tour for the MLS tour just basically means after the MLS meeting, you're holding that home open for agents. Property announcement at brokerages. So this is kind of a little old school thing, but if you get brochures printed or flyers, you can take them around to the different brokerages and say, hey, I have this new listing. Can y'all hand it out to your agents? Custom email blasts. We talked about that. Featuring it on your KV Core site, featuring it on the Founders Real Estate site. If anybody has a listing that they want on the first page of the website where it says, I want to buy or I want to sell, I will replace that image with your listing image. So feel free if you want it there, and you can show your client like, hey, yeah, you're on the front page of our website.
Will you do that with lease listings?
I'll do it with whatever.
Okay, well, I want in on that. However, what do I have to do for that? Send you a picture?
Drop your professional pictures folder in Slack.
Okay.
Yep. Telephone marketing campaign. So we kind of talked about that. So that's circle prospecting, or calling the neighbors, or just calling people in your KV core that match that criteria. Y'all know in KV core, if you use it and you start getting in leads, you can search by criteria like, hey, out of all of my leads, who matches this? And you can call them up. Hosting open houses. You can do a showcase event. So something that I used to do, and I would tell people at my listing presentations, is we will hold this home open every single weekend until it sells. Every single weekend. And so that's something you can do as well. Do a showcase event, like I said. So if you want to host a charity event or just a neighborhood roundup, hell, if you want to show up one Saturday and offer hot dogs to the neighborhood, fuck, do it. Like, do it. You know, I mean, there's nothing that's stopping you, again, unless it's your seller doesn't want you to do it. But heck, get a bouncy house or whatever it is. Like, go to Home Depot, buy some cheap pumpkins, tell the neighbors they can come get a pumpkin for their kids, like whatever. You know, you can host these events. Print marketing, of course. So we talked about the print marketing on the inside of the house. And then your in-home property publication. So the book. And as you get it into more luxury, you'll start putting more inside the house. You'll actually do like booklets for the actual properties, or, you know, whatever it is. Giveaways. We talked about that. Like, those are like all this stuff that I'm giving you are ways that you can market your properties. Okay. And so until your property sells or until it gets leased out, this needs to be your job as a listing agent. Don't get listings if you're not prepared to work them. All right.
Right.
Main job is to market and get that listing sold or get that listing leased. We just had tornadoes come through on the, tornadoes come through here. Huge, tremendous amount of people are looking for leases. We're looking for leases. They probably found them by now. Did anybody run any campaigns for that?
No.
I was just word of mouth. Just word of mouth, speaking to people.
So that was an opportunity. You know, there was a need for some lease listings. And there's you as listing agents that didn't capitalize on that. So, you know, those are the types of things that you want to begin looking for. You want to make sure that you're always servicing your listing. Get as creative as you want with it. If you need my help to where you've done everything that we've talked about and now we just need to get super creative, then let me know. But don't come to me asking for that help if you haven't at least tried that stuff. You know, because if it gets to a point where we need to start packing some money into it, then that's where I'll step in. You know, but everything that I gave you, you can do for minimal, if not free. Keep in mind, you're getting paid a commission at the end of the day. So this is your job. If you want to get listings, you have to service your listings and use this as a tool. Like, even if you have a shitty listing or a listing that's for lease that you're not too proud of, or that's not a high dollar, use this as your leverage to get that listing, to get that one across the street, to get that one around the corner. For somebody to literally see how much and how hard you're marketing this listing, and they say, I want that guy to market my listing because I can see that he works hard. Or I want her to do my listing because she's called me in the neighborhood. She calls me every week. And they come and knock on my door. and they hosted this event, like that's who I want to represent me. So use this as an opportunity to get more business. Like even when you're taking an overpriced listing, you know this listing is overpriced. You know it probably won't sell for this price. Okay, well, my job then becomes, I'm not even trying to sell this house. I'm trying to sell the neighbors, and I'm trying to sell these new buyers who are going to call off of these signs. And I'm going to host an open house every single weekend so that I can get these people filling out my guest cards so I can fill my database. I'm going to use this sign in the yard as leverage. I'm going to use these photos as leverage for more business. Okay, you have that leverage when you're a listing agent. It's a little bit more difficult to do it as a buyer's agent, but as long as you have listings, you can do this stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
I know I kind of went on like a little rant right there, but it's so important that you capitalize on this. Each listing you get should bring you 2 clients if you do this the right way.
Right.
If you do this the right way, you should get 2 clients from every listing you do until it sells. All right? So we're gonna all work together on this. We're on a team for a reason. There's no need to be secretive about your listings. If your listing hasn't sold, remind us about it every single week. Post a Slack message. Hey guys, I want to do a big push to show my sellers when I call them on Tuesday. We'll all step in and push that listing out. All right? But you have to take charge as the listing agent. Okay? So what day are you going to call your sellers?
Tuesday.
And you're going to always have something to tell them, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So we have about 10 more minutes here. What other questions? Anybody need us to brainstorm together? You have a listing that's not moving, or is anybody going to go after listings now?
Always.
Of course.
Now, you know, like everything that we even talked about today, like these are conversations that you can have in your listing appointments. You know, when they say, what are you going to do to market my property? Shit, I got a whole bunch of stuff. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
that's all.
because you do. You truly do. And this is going to set you apart from a lot of agents. You don't want at the end of the day your client to say all you did was put a sign in the yard and put it on MLS. Like, this is what gets people wanting discounts. This is what gets people feeling like you don't deserve the amount of money that you're going to make. You know, so show them that you're working for that 6% or that 7 or that 8, whatever you charge them. Show them that you're truly working for it, that they're going to be happy at the end of the day seeing your commission. They're going to be happy wanting to provide you with a review, not sitting at the closing table and they see that number next to your name and saying, I could do this myself. You know, like, that's not what you want. And if you're in a position where you need money and you got listings, shit, like that's prime time right there. I would be working on that listing every single day. Every single day. What can I do today? You know, the clients are out there, and if they're getting other properties, or if your property's overpriced or whatever, you know, have that conversation with your client. I mean, they've hired you. Like, earn their respect and earn your money.